Y'all, this is just a little, like a little, I guess, preview of what I'm about to have on my YouTube channel. But yeah, for that information, go over to my the link in my bio and go subscribe to my YouTube, like, comment, even share that. The information I share, it should be for everybody, but not everyone is going to tap into that type of information. I understand there's some type of woke, I say phase going around, but it's more like a movement. But yeah, I kind of gave y'all like a slight warning, but this goes into like a lot of shit that is just, it's not going their way. And they've had 100-year, 1,000-year plans. These top tier individuals like the government and those above them, like the ones who own the Federal Reserve. But just like the Agenda 2021 or the Real ID 2020, like the whole conspiracy behind that, this almost goes into the same situation that happened last time, that we had really bad heat waves like this. And just know, like I said, I warned you guys, but the Transformers for our power grid, it's not gonna hold, and people aren't as obedient as they imagine. So I don't see how long this is gonna be holding out, but there's gonna be a lot of power outages and there's gonna be a lot of fires coming up. So just FYI, because it used to be a little hard to pinpoint what they're gonna do, but now it's kind of easy to see like what technology they're going to be using to do certain acts. And for this specific time frame and for what we're going through right now, check your local maps for the week, and even for the last few days. Like it's been hot everywhere. I think the only places that weren't really hot were the ones that weren't fully affected, like the ones where people are in rebellion, are the places where it really wasn't that hot. Like Mexico was like San Francisco in the winter time, my nigga. Like, not the winter time, the fall. Because the winter time, it do get cold in SF, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Niggas be in Nike sweatsuits on the beach and shit. But yeah, man. You know what? I thought I was just gonna put this as a little snippet intro and put it on my Instagram, but you know, I might as well just do the whole fucking video for y'all. So yeah, pretty much this whole thing is gonna be about the heat wave that's been coming, and I know y'all all got that little emergency notification on y'all phone. That shit definitely solidified what I was believing to come true anyway. What everyone has been saying, that's in my circle, that's been, really speaking on for the last few years, is based off of the, just the way everything was going, politics, how they like just jumped on cryptocurrency, and it's tough, but just know, like, things will be good for you. Like, you stay prayed up, and the ones that are supposed to be there will be there, because the wrong ones have been in charge for way too long. And it's about that time for a change. The right change. People don't believe in the elections anymore. Like, voting is constantly going on in decline. Because people woke up. Like, we're not gonna play part of the game. And I'm speaking on presidential elections, for that matter. So, nobody be coming for me in the comments. I'm literally just speaking on presidential elections. Just solely presidential elections. But it's mainly because I ain't trying to get backlash for what I gotta say about, the inner workings of, intercommunal politics. Because society as a whole is gone down the drain. But it's crazy because when you start noticing specific things that are done, like even this situation with Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish, it's like there's so much red flags like I was seeing in both of these people. It's like the simple fact that Ari Spears got punched on Corey Holcomb's podcast, like it's just like, ugh. The fact that Tiffany Haddish was drunk doing her special and was fucking up and getting booed off stage, like this is what I mean. Like, real ones are gonna speak up and address certain shit, just like Cat Williams did. But as you can see, certain people, and even the ones on YouTube, which is why I take so much time to sit and watch different YouTube videos and go through certain situations that people are getting yellow marked for, or like people get kicked off or banned. Because it's like, I've gotten a YouTube video taken down way before I even got hit. So it's complicated because I want to share this. And if anyone knows me personally or has gone to school with me or whatever, they will express to you I don't really keep a fucking filter on because it's not really a reason to. I may keep a filter on around people's parents, but that kind of changed nowadays because I'm grown. It's like, what the fuck you finna tell me? Like, as long as I ain't going around like saying like goofy shit or just like blatantly cussing too much in front of kids or like just like being inappropriate or shit like that. But it's like, nigga, I know what to do and what not to do. I have morals, nigga. I'm like, my social conditioning has nothing to do with my morals. It did not interfere with that at all. So it sucks because you can't say the same for everyone else. It's like society is literally shaping people's morals nowadays, which is why I think it's a good and bad thing that they're like threats of like power outages and shit like that. So the hotel I'm staying at, like, they've been having Wi-Fi issues for the longest, and it's crazy because it's like I always had a theory because it was, I don't know where like exactly I'm at, like, but I feel like this area, like the wiring in this area is really bad, or like something's going on, bro. Ever since Trump got into office, the day after he was sworn in, bro, that was literally the hottest fucking day like I had ever felt, like in Sacramento, and it was just like a regular ass day, and that day was it. Like, everything mirrors how the world is going. So I feel like if the world is burning up, my nigga, that's literally telling you some shit's going against the grain. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, y'all know when like the devil and then there's the angel or demon and angel that pop up on your shoulder, and then one is all like white and dressed and there's like heavenly aura or a background about it, and then this is like some demon over here that has the horns, like so-called devil we knew, and fucking flames behind him, or like just like an aura, dark aura about this individual, and it's like people don't understand the differences in energies. And I hate the simple fact that so much information is so available, because then it gives people the notion to think that they've been validated to believe whatever it is. This is why, regardless of what hood shit has told me, and regardless of what the street shits care about and don't care about, I genuinely believe that everyone should at least make it through the first year of college. At least. Because I learned so much shit just in like the first 3 or 4 semesters I spent there, or shit, even the first 2. I met like the most amazing individuals, and I learned the most craziest shit that didn't necessarily, and this is the difference that we all have to come into context with, is the difference between someone validating something and someone confirming something. Because someone can sit and validate whatever someone's thinking all day, every day. But if you have an engineering mind like I do, or a scientific brain, you come up with these like scientific hypotheses in your head, or like real genuine questions about like how shit works. And then when you do so, you find certain things in life, certain events, and not even just in your life, you may just be a witness of it in someone else's life. And you were meant to be a witness to give confirmation to something you're supposed to share with the world or share with someone else, and then it passes on through generations and becomes common sense, or what we refer to as common sense, but what was previously known to as secondhand knowledge. And secondhand knowledge, aka common sense, is really just things you've learned over the years that pretty much explains the simplicity, what the fuck, my ass, the simplicity between beginning of life and the end of life. You're constantly growing, you're constantly learning things throughout life. And I can't forget what Dr. Marshall at ARC told me, and the difference between wisdom and knowledge. And the way he explained it was, the difference between wisdom and knowledge is someone can be very knowledgeable and know a whole bunch of series of statements and facts, but someone who's wise has went through a lot of things and of course learned the knowledge, but applies it in life. Then this is the argument. This is why I get frustrated with a lot of people out here, because people will just regurgitate a lot of information. Oh, well, I've been knowing that. Or if someone's constant remark is "I knew that," and they constantly express that they don't have the first-hand or second-hand knowledge of something, the awareness, that's clearly a detachment. So either they did and just don't care to use that knowledge because they don't see the value in it because of the detachment, the disconnect, or they've come to a point to where they've been, it's one of these words I just used, they've been validated so much to believe something that's not a fact. So then they can take that and run with it. And see, the thing is in life is, when people get so far or get certain things that society deems as what a person who has their life together, the characteristics of what they would have. When someone has that, it's completely deceiving when their intellect or their mental doesn't match up to that. So this is what I mean when you ever hear me say on here that there are gaps in people's learning.
And this is what I believe my purpose is on this planet. This is why I exist, is to fill the gaps in people's learning. And I believe generally, and this will be in my book, there are stages of life where, you start out, um, naive to the world, as an infant or a toddler. And it's so crazy because there are things as a child that you can see in babies and in children. They understand certain things that you would inherently think that you would have to teach somebody. But there are certain things that come natural. Just like if you put anything in a baby's mouth, he's going to suck on it because he's, inherently speaking, if you're a baby, anything going in your mouth is supposed to feed you because you've been detached from your source of the nutrients from the umbilical cord. Um, but yeah, I find it extremely interesting when you start breaking down a lot of these things. And this is what I meant by the angel and the demon on each side, is because when I'm talking about these temperature changes, when it's so fucking hot outside, and then you look on the map and you would think, if we're on this globe, this fucking planet, things work a certain way. You've been led to believe all this because of all the things you've learned and what you've taken in science, which really isn't up to date. Um, and you come to this screeching halt when you realize a lot of that shit doesn't add up because it doesn't make sense. So if things were to work how they work, if we're in these time zones and regions on the planet, if we're on these different, levels where it's more susceptible to be cold in certain areas versus in other areas where it's near the equator where it should be pretty fucking hot all the time. But if you looked at the map in the last few days, like I was explaining, most of that shit was red. Like most of it was like scary hot, like over hundreds. And I'll tell you, from everywhere I've lived in the United States, which was at least 4 or 5 different cities, 3 different states, the only place that it's gotten this hot over 110 is Las Vegas, religiously. And in Sacramento, it's been over 105, over 106 for like the past 2, 3 days. It hit 111 yesterday. I just know Vegas gotta be. Sheesh. I don't even know, bruh. But what I will say is, what this does mean is, y'all just be prepared. It's so scary because it's like, you see Joe Biden had this infrastructure plan and money going towards infrastructure, but only thing that I've ever been told of this year, and I actually am able to watch the news now, is that the transformers or the power grid is the only thing being worked on. And realistically, it's like, I can name off a few things just from what I've learned and from what I know in life to be very factual. Um, yeah, more than the power grid needs to be adjusted on this planet. And if we're speaking on infrastructure, the ocean would probably be a lot more not probably, the ocean would definitely be a lot more clean. Um, had money gone towards it when the problem was brought to their attention. And landfills, that's also an issue. And it's like we're spending all this money to try to become interplanetary and or multiplanetary, excuse me. And it's just it really gets me because it's like Elon Musk has so much power now. But it's like we're not fixing any problems on Earth. We were focused on that. But it's so crazy because as a man, we understand what we want to do in this world versus what the world tells you can do. And then as men, we try to work around and like fit that in. And it's just like, my God. Men have to compromise so much and go through so much bullshit and acceptance of so much like conflicting ideas, to say the least. And it just really baffles me the fact that it's commonly known that we don't have understanding of 90% of this planet, which how, if what we see on the map is really what it is, we should at least know what 85-90% of what the world looks like in general. But over 97% or over 96% of the ocean is still unexplored. So it's like there's shit that we don't know. Like like Samuel Jackson said in the Boondocks, shit that we don't know that we don't know. Known knowns and unknown unknowns. But that shit was so funny. But fuck, I didn't distracted myself. Yeah, so basically I'm just spazzing off of information that I'm not able to show y'all because I don't got the edits and shit where I can just pop like and whatever else. But yeah, bro, like Elon Musk had a plan to have like an underground like, and see, and I have a theory about that, but I'll just weave it in actually. So Elon Musk had a dream to where he was starting these tunnels to where cars can drive through, pretty much like an underground freeway. Like if you seen iRobot with Will Smith in it, like the tunnels he was driving in, that's pretty much what he was imagining for the future. And what I believe is he started, speaking about them tunnels and started digging and realized that in order for his idea to come to full fruition, he found out that they had a lot of underground bunkers and shit like that, in the underground city and shit like that, that he was probably going to be interfering with. So I think he stopped that and then was like, all right, nigga, well, I'm going to focus on space then. So, yeah, y'all have that. Because it's like this man, when he first got big, like before Tesla's like stock price even jumped over 600, he was speaking on so much like future for the world. And clearly he's come to find out too much information to where, like how the engineering mind works, and I'm having that type of mindset. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. Like, there's so much ideas and shit that comes flying at your head. Then it's because it's like we already have so much, wisdom and knowledge and certain shit that we've understood that didn't make sense. And we know how to work from around that and everything else. It's crazy to sit and imagine that you come across some information one day that the world is increasingly reached its impending demise. And it's crazy because Michael Jackson said this before he died, that if we didn't fix or reverse our issue, the pollution of the planet and destruction of forests and shit, if we didn't reverse that within 4 years, that it was going to be irreversible. And I don't think that there was enough time taken. So I believe that Elon Musk found out some information that pretty much Earth is fucked in layman's terms. So I believe that and if you listen to a lot of his interviews, which I encourage you do, he explains that a lot recently in the last few years. Is like, we need to get the fuck off of this planet, like, fast. Like, this planet's going nowhere. And it's going to be uninhabitable, and like pretty much it's going to be another Mars. So they're going to try to artificially reverse Mars into an Earth, and Earth is going to self-destruct itself and probably replenish within over 100 couple thousands of years. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, because then if you want to start talking about aliens, there are a lot of evidence out there that states that Earth and Mars were or are used as jump points for UFOs. And I warned y'all like a year and some change, that my boy had told me that the military and NASA was going to come out and pretty much expose the fact that aliens have been here and they've known about them for a long time. And now, as of 2022, that is common knowledge. If it's not, you should probably go look up what I'm telling you right now on Google and come back here and write a comment if you haven't known about that. But yeah, it's pretty common knowledge that aliens have been here, and they've had multiple crashes, and they I forgot that area name, but as well as the one I just fucking forgot, and Area 51, a lot of you guys don't really realize, because I don't really talk about it anymore, because you'll be looked at funny. You were looked at funny for even speaking about Area 51 a long time ago, because it wasn't even seen as a real thing. Which is what a lot of y'all motherfuckers need to realize, that a lot of shit that was not known or seemed to be as conspiracy theories 15 years ago, they all came out to be facts. And you know them now to be common fucking sense. Okay, so don't fucking sit here and tell me that what I'm saying is so fucking far off. But yeah, so pretty much what they did was, when people started exposing certain shit, they pretty much cleaned up the top of whatever was so fucking secure back then that you couldn't even get within 100 miles of it to even fucking take a picture, let alone get in a plane and try to fly by it or over it. You would get stopped or shot down pretty fucking quick. Nowadays, you can get close enough to take pictures and whatever else, and we got better technology to have better pictures, and yeah. But yeah, so what they did was they pretty much scrapped all the evidence from above ground and went underground and started building shit and whatever else. So, to say the least, I highly encourage y'all, and it's so crazy because I've been a sci-fi kid for the longest, so I always would see certain shit in sci-fi movies that always would come out to be true, or I would find information in life later on, like a year later, sometimes even like a month or a week later. My life has worked like that for some reason, but I always came across information that made whatever I learned about that was seen as a myth to be a fact.
And the fucking funny part is, don't try to get me caught up for this or whatever. But the crazy part is every single thing that was either Chinese, Indian, Native American, African or Egyptian, that whole shit. Brown and tan people. Anything that came from them that was seen to be a myth or a fairy tale came to be a fact. And slowly but surely artifacts are coming out. But all these shit stories, whatever the fuck that white people tell about these Greek mythology or whatever else, all this shit, there's no archaeological evidence that's come out to state that these people existed. Except, of course, you know, the philosophers, Plato, Aristotle. You know, like shit that's obvious. These niggas wrote. But we're not talking about no fucking Greek gods and shit like that. Like, come on. But yeah. So yeah, y'all prepare for the grid to start malfunctioning. I know y'all got that alert on y'all phone. It's telling y'all not to use up too much energy because it's already overheating because of the weather. And like I was telling you, I thought the wires and the transformer boxes out here in SAC were starting to melt because a lot of like areas out here, the Wi-Fi be tripping. But yeah, that alert that went out. Whoever has seen that message that see this video, that is a warning. And for everyone that knows me and has been following me, I warned y'all about several things that came to fruition. Now, I didn't necessarily know that their agenda or whatever they were coming up with that was gonna fuck us up because of the Mayan calendar and that's another video for another time, but it's so like these niggas' plans is like so crazy. It's so crazy because like you could tell they plans be exactly what like the conspiracy theorists are saying and like the general knowledge of what we know from what we've researched and we can all sit and agree on with what we've seen. It's so wild that fucking like how close it'll be, but you'll see like they don't quantify or calculate the ignorant individuals. And so when you get them rebellious few, you try to scramble, do some weird shit, and then we like, wait, this is kind of taking our rights away, my guy. Like, what the fuck you doing? Then they try to bounce back and like, oh, okay, like, well, we need a nice little puppet then because, like, it's life is life, bro. Life be life, and